Okay, so I'm live. All right. Okay. Many of you may be familiar already with Christine Weik's presentation about how Monster.com is promoting a satanic agenda. Okay. Um, I've done, this is my third video on my rebuttal to that information. And the first two were way too long, so I'm going to see if I can be disciplined enough to just focus on the slides and not ancillary information. Okay. All right, so let's get right into it. Presentation is behind me. Her argument is up. This is the structure of her argument. All right, here we go. All right, so the letter M. These are arguments from her video. If you watch the video, you'll see these are the points that she makes. They're 12 points, and I'm detailing them now. The letter M in Monster is made up of three Hebrew letters, three Hebrew letter vavs, which doubles as the number 6 in Hebrew. The O in Monster has a cross in it. What does Christ have to do with an energy drink? BFC at the bottom of the can means, or it stands for big effing can. Has MILF on the side of the box, so it's not a Christian company at all. Then why put a cross on the can? The message, Antichrist, 666 on the can in Hebrew. Unleash the beast. The monster talks about the beast. Witchcraft is when the cross goes upside down. The devil laughs. This is how clever Satan is. This is how Satan gets into Christians' homes and a Christian's life. It breaks God's heart. Jesus said, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge." And so I will be addressing each one of these points with actual information. Okay, so that's the outline of the argument. We'll go straight into explaining first point of the argument, and then we'll come with my rebuttal. All right, so the M is made of three Hebrew vowels, which equals 666. If you look at this M in the Monster logo right here, she's saying that secretly concealing three-letter Hebrew letter vowels, which is the letter V in Hebrew, also gets a value of 6. Over here we see in the chart, we separate those three strikes or claw marks in the Monster logo, and we see they, to her they look like vowels, which gets the value of 6, and since there's three of them, it's 666. She describes them as short top, long tail, but however, this is an incomplete Hebrew alphabet. Okay, the Hebrew alphabet has 27 letters, not 22, and she's purposely concealing the actual Hebrew alphabet, and I'll go into that later. So, but the truth is, the letter Vav does have a value of 6 when the Hebrew letter doubles as number. Hebrew letters, Latin letters, and Greek letters also double as numbers because they don't have a numerical system. They use their letters as a numerical system. But actually, these three, when I first saw these three individual M, and when I saw this M, I like, hey, that's made up of nails. It looks like it's made up of nails that pin Jesus to the cross, or like the nails that the Romans would use to pin Jesus to the cross. It'd be funny if that's actually what they were. Next. All right, so here's the letter M in the logo. Short top, long tail. Let's keep that in mind. The components of the Monster letter M do not look like vowels. When the entire Hebrew alphabet is revealed, we find that it looks much more like another letter that she purposely didn't show. Okay, so here's your Vav over here, right? Here's the letter Vav. Compare that to scale with this Monster. I'm not saying it's the exact same size as the Monster logo, but comparatively to scale, you can see that even if it was the same size from this vantage point here to that vantage point here, it still wouldn't replicate the same length of these letters. However, there's a letter she didn't show, which is Nun Sofit. Nun Sofit is one of the other letters that make up the 27 letter or character Hebrew alphabet. All right. So to me, when I first looked at the M and I heard this rumor about how monster was secretly the mark of the beast, and I looked at it, I said, those don't look like Vavs at all because I've been a Hebrew student since 1997. So to me, they look like Nun Sophites. And as you can see, I hope you would agree that this looks a lot more like these monster strikes or these monster claw marks than this would. If you can't see it, if you need all three of them, all three of them to see it, here are three Vavs in a row. Compare that to the size of this, and so here are three Nun Sophites in a row. Compare that to the size of this. Now let's learn a little bit more about the letter Nun and Nun Sophite. All right, the Hebrew alphabet. Now here is a complete chart of the Hebrew alphabet along with their numerical values, and you should be able to see back here. Here, their number system only goes to 90. How can you have a complete number system that just ends at 90? That doesn't make any sense. Let's go further. All right. So the Hebrew alphabet consists of 22 letters. So the 5 finals were added to make up 3 series of 9s, or 27 in all. Now here on the end are the 5 letters that she left out. As a matter of fact, we see more numerical values for letters that weren't included before. And they do have a more intricate numbering system. It doesn't just stop at 90. So here's the entire Hebrew alphabet. And here we find not only the letter Vav right here. So you can see it equals a value of 6. But we also find the letter Nun. It's a value of 50. And Nun Sophite, value of 700. Okay? You can clearly see that both letters not only resemble each other, you can also see them to scale, and that the 3 claw marks that make up the monster logo look far more like Nun Sophite, which is a value of 700, than it does Vav. All right, so let's say we give her the benefit of the doubt, because only reason we're going to give her the benefit of the doubt is because these 2 claw marks on the side are a little shorter than this one in the middle. So let's just say that is made up of 2 vowels on either side, which still doesn't look like. And let's say 1 Nun in the middle. And so we can take into consideration the numerical value, and it still comes up to 6, 700, and 6, which will equal 712. Here we see 666 equals 18. Here we see 700 and 700 and 700. If we had 3 Nuns together, 700, 700, 700 equals 2100. You can't just put numbers together like that and expect them not to be added up, because that's what the letters are used for. Like when you look at the Super Bowl, right? I can't remember what the last Super Bowl number was, but let's say Super Bowl 26. All right, that's an X, that's a V, and then that's going to be an I in Roman letters or Latin letters or whatever. So you don't just say, oh, this is Super Bowl 10-5-1. No, you add them together. That's how numbers work. So it couldn't just be 666. In fact, it's not 666. It's 666. And the Bible makes that point clear. When you go to the book of Revelations, you look up that verse in Revelation 13, you will see that the number of the beast in his name, the number of his name is 666. In fact, the Bible spells it out. So this is how you write 666 in Hebrew, with a thou, a resh, a samek, and a wav. Tau gets the value of 400. A resh gets the value of 200. Samek gets the value of 600. So far, we have to 660. And then with the vowel preceding the value of 6, 666. All right, so the next line. Now we're actually going to go to Revelation 13. Let's read Revelation 13 to give us more clarity on the mark itself, which will help nullify the argument. Revelation 13:15 through 18. The second beast was empowered to give life to the image of the first beast, so that it could speak, and could cause all those who did not worship the image of the beast to be killed. He also calls everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to obtain a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. Thus, no one was allowed to buy or sell things unless he bore the mark of the beast, that is, his name or his number. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has insight calculate the beast's number, for it is a man's number, and his number is 666. The criteria for the mark: everyone, small, great, rich, poor, free, slave. Talking about all economical, political, and social statuses. They're going to obtain a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. You cannot buy or sell without the mark, his name or his number. All right? Form of currency. Next, this is a quote from Revelation that we just read, is the number of a man's name, and his number is 666. So who was he? Because this has already happened over 20 centuries ago. This already happened. He was Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus. I can't believe this. Okay, Ahenobarbus. I always mess that name up. Better known as Nero Caesar. John used a puzzle called gematria. Gematria is well known in Hebrew circles for how it reveals secrets or how it hides information by converting the letters to numbers, and which numbers are used to represent certain letters. John used this puzzle to reveal Nero without actually writing down his name. Remember, the early churches were being persecuted during this time, not only from the Jews, but also from the Romans. And so it would be a foolish thing for John to write this book and say, the beast is Nero, Caesar. Nero get his hands on it. John is looking for a hard time. So basically a way to snitch without snitching. The numerical values of the Hebrew letters in Nero Caesar, are the letter N equals 50. Go over here. 50, 200, 6. The N is 50, R 200, the W is 6, N is 50, Q 100, etc. So we look at the name here, Neron Caesar equals 666 with these value, with the value of these letters. Okay, so if you got any questions about that, you can ask me about it later, or leave a comment underneath the video, because this is how you spell Nero Caesar in Hebrew. Neron Caesar. All right. So Nero Caesar fits the gematria code number 666. Using this code, his name would be rendered as I just said it a second ago, which when added together equals 666. The fact that Nero fits the description of the beast is well documented. In fact, a fragment of a papyrus 115 gives the number as 616, and it still spells out Nero Caesar in Latin. Nero Caesar in Hebrew and in Latin. All right, so here is an image of a coin. Remember, one of the criteria of the mark of the beast was you can't buy or sell without it. Now, this is Roman currency at one point in time when Nero was Caesar. Okay, so his image and his name are on the coin. Guess what this coin is? Your mark of the beast. Looks nothing like the M on a Monster can. Okay, so the O in Monster has a cross in it. She says you can't deny that that is a cross. Believe I can, because I get the concept. Monster energy drink. In the O, they put a strike through it to replicate an animal with a vertical pupil, either a lizard or a big cat. We don't know what type of monster it is, but they're giving clues by doing this, and it's clever. Next. BFC means big effing can. Okay, so I'm going to read what's on the side of the can, okay? That Monster puts on the side of their own can. Yeah, you know what BFC stands for. No, you shouldn't try to chug it. We know you can, just don't. Instead, kick back and enjoy the biggest, baddest energy drink on the planet. And the biggest effing can we could find. Wimps, health nuts, busybodies need not apply. Recommended use, 1 big can per day. I don't see this as a satanic an agenda at all. This has nothing. This has more to do with her own personal Christian convictions and complaints than it is them trying to promote a satanic agenda. I mean, if they were promoting a satanic agenda and it was as satanic as she says they were, they wouldn't disguise the word by saying effing. They would actually have spelled it out. That's just common sense. So we are deviating away from the argument now. And these are her own personal complaints that she has with why they're not a Christian company. BFC means big effing can. Okay. At 32 ounces, I'd say Monster has earned the right to give that title to that can compared to Red Bull's 8.5 12-ounce can. I'd say BFD, big effing deal. This hardly makes the drink satanic. So I pointed out. She's trying to build a case. So is every company that uses profanity in their marketing satanic? As we look at a picture of the best damn root beer who actually used the word damn. Monster didn't use the word effing. They just spelled it with cultural vernacular, or converted into a cultural vernacular by a different spelling. MILF. So, because it has MILF on the can, it's not a Christian company at all. How do we know that this doesn't mean Monsters I'd love to fondle? I mean, I've seen MILF and I know what it stands for. But due to the fact that Monster spelled effing in an unconventional way, how do I not know that MILFs is not meant to stand for something else? I've seen this acronym rendered many different ways. All right. So Monster is a brand that recognizes demographic and calls them by their nicknames they refer to themselves as. That's new millennium marketing. That's such demographics appreciate. So I'm saying that's new millennium marketing that this demographic appreciates, They like it when you mention them on the can, especially if you're marketing to them. They're the crowd that don't want to be left out and glad somebody's gravitating towards them in marketing to them. So just because it's not a Christian company doesn't make it satanic. Okay, that's another complaint that she has that probably goes against her brand of Christianity, but I'm sure it doesn't offend Christians as a whole. It certainly doesn't offend me. I'm not a Christian, but I'm a Messianic Jew. It certainly doesn't offend me. All right, and when you want to call a company non-Christian, I think you should look at the owners. She never once mentioned them, but I'll mention them. Monster is owned by Hansen Natural Company. Hansen Natural Company. Owned by Hubert Hansen, a natural soda company that got to start in California in 1935. All right, and they got their start in natural soda. All right, and I guess they branched off. He had 3 sons, and I guess I don't know how the whole thing got divided up or whatever, but Monster comes from that lineage. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, natural soda. You want to create natural soda, and you're a Satanist. I can't see the two going together. The message, Antichrist, 666 on the can. Okay, so we getting this mixed up. Antichrist and 666 have nothing to do with each other. Matter of fact, Antichrist only appears 4 times in the Bible. The word Antichrist only appears in John's epistles. Okay? Matter of fact, Revelations is one of John's books, but John never mentions it in Revelation, so it's quite clear he has nothing to do with this beast. She's getting Christian eschatology all mixed up. Okay. I'm going to read the passages in the Bible. There's only 4 of them that describe and define what the Antichrist is, and we know this guy has nothing to do with 666. All right. 1 John 2:18 and 22:18. Children, it is the last hour, and just as you heard that the Antichrist is coming, so now many Antichrists have appeared. We know from this that it is the last hour. Who is the liar but the person who denies that Jesus is the Christ? This one is the Antichrist. He'll say it again. The person who denies the Father and the Son. Monster, you are not guilty. I haven't seen you do that anywhere in your marketing, on your can, nowhere. So you can't be the Antichrist. 1 John 4:3. But every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God, and this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have heard is coming, and now is already in the world. Monster, you're not guilty. 2 John 1:7. For many deceivers have gone out into the world, people who do not confess Jesus as the Christ coming in the flesh. This person is the deceiver and the Antichrist. Okay, so like I said, this word Antichrist appears nowhere in Revelations, let alone has nothing to do with the number 666. John defines the Antichrist as someone who denies the Father and the Son. Nowhere does Monster Energy Drink deny the Father and the Son. Logical conclusion. Monster is guilty of clever marketing and helping people stay awake and healthy, not promoting Satan's agenda. So this isolates this lady as some sort of hypersensitive Christian paranoia. Next, let's deal with this upside down cross that she says is in the O, and the O isn't. If that is a cross, it's up right now. But once you turn the can upside down, the cross goes upside down, thus making it Antichrist as a message. Okay, so she says when a cross turns upside down, it's witchcraft. Now, is that true? That's absolutely false. Here I have 4 pictures of Peter's crucifixion. The upside down cross is called the cross of Peter, okay? Because he was crucified upside down because he did not find himself worthy to be crucified right side up as his master was, Jesus. Okay, so here's a picture of him here. I'm not saying this is an actual photograph of Peter. That'd be ridiculous. Okay, this is another rendering, all right? And here's a symbol, emblem, and an actual church of the cross upside down with the keys that Peter were given by the Messiah himself. I'm not actual keys, but, you know. Here's Peter himself, or a statue of him with an upside down cross. So that begs the question. If this upright cross in the O goes upside down when you turn it up and drink it, I can't get a drink or a beverage past this high when I'm drinking it. So I never drink it like that anyway. What about every other lowercase t on the can? On the can, any can ever, everywhere, ever been made? Anytime there's a lowercase t on a beverage that you turn upside down full vertical, that becomes an upside down cross too. That's just how silly this thinking, and that's how dangerous this thinking is. Because imagine if they were persecuting people for nonsense like this. The Bible talks about the beast. Okay, which one? Which there's about 7 different beasts the Bible talks about. Okay, that's no big deal. Unleash the beast is the slogan for Monster, and she's saying that it must be a part of their agenda. They're talking about unleashing the beast of Revelations. I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's clearly someone who is out of touch with this culture. Let's continue. Daniel 7:23. This is what he told me. The 4th beast means that there will be a 4th kingdom on earth. So I picked that scripture because it fast forward to the 4th beast to let us know there were 3 preceding beasts. So we got 4 beasts mentioned in Daniel 7. All right? Or, in Daniel. Let's just say in Daniel. Okay? And so in Revelation 13:12, he exercised all the ruling authority of the first beast. So far, they're talking about there was a first beast, and he is another beast who exercised all the authority. So we got 2 beasts. So far, we have 6 beasts altogether. And there was a mention of a dragon at one point in time in Revelation. So that would make about 7 different beasts. Which one is Monster talking about? I'll tell you which one is talking about. I mean, it's common sense. Monster is an energy drink that claims to provide energy for your workouts. Beast is gym vernacular for one's optimum performance. All right? And I'm sure you heard it many times in the gym. Somebody, I've heard it many times. Brothers congregating outside the gym, and they say they're going to hit beast mode when they walk through that door. Because they consumed a bunch of supplements and protein and egg whites and all this kind of stuff. So they're gonna beast out in the gym. That's what this Monster is smart enough to use the language that this culture uses to sell its product, and it's been doing a great job of it. Next. Okay, so she didn't bring. I would think that, okay, look, if the can is satanic, then perhaps if you sell a consumable item, you would want to manipulate the ingredients so that you can either control the population some way to get it to do Satan's bidding. So, but she never brings up the ingredients, but I will. I'll bring up these ingredients to see. Okay, we didn't find Satan nowhere else on the outside of the can, on the box. Let's see if we can find him on the inside of the can. All right, let's look at the ingredients. Look at the ingredients of Monster can, Monster energy drink. Glucose, a simple sugar. Citric acid, exists in a variety of fruits and vegetables, most notably citrus fruits. Taurine, conjugation of bile acids, antioxidant, osmoregulation, membrane stabilization, modulation of calcium signaling. Sodium citrate is an alkalizing agent to make the urine less acidic. Stop me when I get to something that's dangerous. All right. Panax ginseng extract. Panax ginseng is taken by mouth to improve thinking, concentration, memory, Alzheimer's disease, work efficiency, physical stamina, preventing muscle damage from exercise, and athletic endurance. So far, so good. I don't see Satan nowhere. L-carnitine, don't know how to pronounce this stuff, is a quaternary ammonium compound involved in the metabolism in most mammals. L-tartrate is a non-toxic food additive that has three main purposes: to regulate acidity, to prevent oxidation, or to promote the mixing of two substances. Caffeine, I felt needed no explanation. We pretty much know what that is. Sorbic acid, also often used as preservatives in food and drinks to prevent the growth of mold, yeast, and fungi. Makes sense. Benzoic acid, widely used as a food preservative and in the manufacture of various cosmetic dyes, plastics, and insect repellents. It's used in those items. Those items are not in the can. All right. Niacinamide is a vitamin found in food, used as a dietary supplement and used as a medication. Sucralose, artificial sweetener, sugar substitute. D-glucuronolactone. I mess that up every time. Is a natural occurring substance that is an important structural component of nearly all connective tissues. Inositol, sometimes referred to as vitamin B8. Enough said. Guarana extract contain about twice the concentration of caffeine found in coffee seeds. That's where they get the energy from. Pyridoxine is vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is used to break down proteins, carbohydrates, and fats in the body. Anybody see Satan yet? He's playing good. He's playing a good game of hide and seek because I don't see him yet. All right, so hydrochloride, a very useful substance for delivering medication. Riboflavin, whatever, also known as vitamin B2. Maltodextrin will quickly get energy and protein to your muscles. And last but not least, cyanocobalamin is a man-made form of B12. Sorry, guys. Satan, not in the ingredients. So, it's looking more and more like hypersensitive, paranoid Christians are on the loose once again. Okay, so she says the devil laughs. These are just picking apart comments that she makes that really are not part of the argument, but are used to further her message and to further brainwash the Christians that she runs into, to try to pull at their heartstrings to get her message across. Because there's no reason to say stuff like this. There's no way for her to know any of this. So it's just using Christian bywords and Christian vernacular and churchified communique to sway the Christian to her side of the argument. Okay. So how can someone so biblically ignorant? Because all these things she should have known. She should have known before she even went and created the presentation and gone out to trade shows, wherever she's at, to present this stuff, spending her day doing this. So how can someone so biblically ignorant even pretend to know that the devil's laughing every time a monster drink enters a Christian home? How? Let alone how this breaks God's heart, because at one point she says, Satan laughs when this goes into your house as a Christian and gets into your Christian life, right? And God cries. It breaks God's heart. I'm like, how does she know that? That's basically blasphemy to blame these people for the things she's blaming them for, and they're not doing it. All right. Satan would indeed be laughing at her. that he's been given credit for something so ridiculous, and God should indeed cry that those who supposedly represent him are so bold at displaying their own folly at his expense, because she's representing Christianity, and that's embarrassing. Jesus said, "My people perish for a lack." ... This is what she said. She said, Jesus said, "My people perish for a lack of knowledge." I give you 5 seconds to figure out what's wrong with that. 1, 2. Okay, I think 5 seconds is over. I didn't have a stopwatch. My bad. Question: Where did Jesus say this? What book did he say it in? Because Jesus never said that. Answer: no way. Jesus never said this. You will only find that being said here in Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I also reject you as my priest. Because you have ignored the law of your God, I will also ignore your children. She said this to one lady. Oh, matter of fact, she said the exact same words in each presentation, which is very, very well rehearsed, because she has the same mannerisms, the same blinking, the same facial expressions. Every time she gets to the same word, I've seen the presentation about 4 times, and it's always the same. And she always repeats these same mistakes. So, you mean to tell me out of all the times you rehearsed this, you would think you would have gotten information correct by now? But Jesus never said that. And she said this to a lady: my people perish for lack of knowledge, because this is to help further drive the message home. Because one lady said, I never saw that before. And she said, well, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Basically telling this lady, well, because you don't got the knowledge, that's why you ain't see it this way. No, probably because a woman has common sense. Everybody has common sense. I don't know who this convinced, but I see some other Christians jumping on the bandwagon, unfortunately. So hopefully this video will be used against it. I mean, you can subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, whatever, if you found it useful. I'm actually doing this not for that purpose, but I don't mind it being used for that purpose. I'm actually doing it because 2 people I know were affected by that video. Matter of fact, of my religious ilk. One of them sent the video to me like a warning. And, I'm like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Can't you see through this? This is nonsense. And another person told me I'm never drinking Monster again. I can't believe this. Just because of this? How come you guys didn't have the foreknowledge to see clean through this one presentation? All right. So basically, how can you trust? Let's go ahead and ruin some credibility while we're at it, because if she had credibility from just speaking things without backing them up, let's ruin that. How can you trust a woman who gets one of the most basic Bible verses wrong and attributes it to the wrong author? I mean, that alone, if I've listened to the whole presentation, and when she got to that part right there, that would have told me this woman does not know what she's talking about. This woman is completely biblically ignorant, not biblically astute. And so how can I trust somebody's research who gets one of the most basic and most popular verses incorrect? All right, so verdict: Monster Energy Drink is just that, an energy drink that has been made a target by undereducated, hypersensitive Christians trying to make their religion relevant by attacking what they don't understand. Bottoms up.